What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor. We're starting just about like 3 minutes early here, just to kind of get the ball rolling and get the fun started because we have one heck of a week. Al and I are just talking here in the chat of this, like, we have just so many earnings, especially on Tuesday into Wednesday, really coming out that could really booster the market higher, lower, all this different various directions. As you can see right now, the Nasdaq is up 0.7 percent, so nearly 100 points there. The S&P 500 is up about nearly 0.5% at like 16 points there. So a lot of things are very interesting to see in the market. Again, you seeing what is this? The rut is up a little tiny bit at just 7 points, a point of a quarter of a, nearly a quarter or 1/3 of a percent. Then of course Bitcoin's still down 2.5%, and gold basically just flat. Nothing really to speak about of gold on that sense, but definitely it's going to be a very extremely entertaining week, to say the least. We have of course my fan favorite Tesla, another fan favorite AMD, and of course a smorgasbord of the largest company ever as Apple report as well. So this is definitely going to be a extremely interesting time to see on how the stocks really play out. Again, we can look at some earning expectations. I'm looking at potentially doing a video on that on Monday to kind of like guidelines of market maker moves. What could you potentially expect for like the bigger ones? I kind of did a little bit of that video, but I want to break it down with colors and really just kind of show some meanings of that. Let's see here. All right, looks like people are forming on up. Alan, thank you so much for showing up as well. SY, BA, and Ross, how you doing? Let's just go ahead and just kind of jump into things here. Let's get my pretty face out of the way. Here, go to the bottom corner of the screen. Again, let me go back real fast. I am also fronting my SpaceX shirt, Spaceman here. So, gotta support SpaceX on their wonderful milestone. Anyways, on that being said here, we're just gonna go, let's see here, what's TRCX? What that is? All right, TRXC. Yeah, this is one that I think someone else brought up on live stream the other day. This is insane. Like, look at this move here. Going from a penny stock into the lower $5 range. Again, this is really hard to do technical analysis on these particular charts. You really just have to look at it just holding between that 5 and 8 moving averages. There's really nothing much we can say on that. Again, so a pullback to even 280, even back down to 230 would be just fine. Right. Ross says, "Night, everyone. How about them Chiefs?" I think you're talking about the foosball. I'm not too well versed in foosball. I just saw on Twitter that Tom Brady is going to the Super Bowl for the millionth time now. Yeah, I don't know who won or what. Green Energy ICLN, please, says, yep. So I definitely love the whole green energy movement of especially with the infrastructure bill, which we don't know too much about yet, coming from Biden. This one, just like the TAN, which is more solar stuff, this is a beautiful looking setup. This is, again, has had a enormous run here. Been, again, holding very well above that 21 EMA, consolidated here a little bit. With that being said, we're kind of getting a short kind of cup and handle, potentially a break above 33 to 35. We could get a jolt higher here. Again, really highlighting this $34 range. Again, those are exactly where those parabolic SER dots are coming in. Support down to the even $30 would be just fine if we do get a bounce at that level. But again, some longer term targets, oh, I didn't mean to nix that out, would potentially even to the 40 to 45 on this one, again, depending on how that infrastructure deal goes out. Because again, this kind of was over, I wouldn't say overdone, but it was very highlighted due to the Biden win. And now it's kind of slightly kind of consolidating here a little bit. Maybe it would kind of trade a little bit sideways or a little bit more, and we'll see how things look out. Kim K, always looking handsome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Greetings from Greg N. Thank you very much as well. What's up with AUPH thoughts? So again, the thoughts on usually on a pharmaceutical company is just flipping a coin. This chart, looking just strictly at the chart, it is just some consolidation mode. It is between like that 16 all the way down to like 13-ish range. It's just been bouncing around. It has a squeeze. I don't know the company in and out, so I don't know if there's a potential catalyst for this. But there is a nice run up in volume here, which is quite impressive, even though we haven't really seen much of that there. Be very mindful of this. Again, if it breaks 16, that can easily run up to some very extreme levels. I can give you a quick fib here. Let's do this. I bet you it's around like the 50%. Yeah, look at that. It's holding that 50% movement here. A run up to 1645. If it breaks 1645, next level to the upside is around 1826. And then again, that support we talked about, like $13.92 to $13 there, my friend. Dell says BB, yes. Blackberry, yes. I never thought I would hear this name again in my life, to be quite honest. I know this is definitely something I don't know if it's from Wall Street Bets or what's going on over there, but this thing has come to life. I know they had some kind of deal with Amazon or something, or AWS. But this thing is very hot and spicy right now. This thing is running pretty hot here. By what I mean by that is look at the 5 and 8. It's been holding. It hasn't even come down to the 8 EMA. It's just continued to grind higher here, potentially looking for a potential resistance coming into around the $16 range. If we do get a bounce off here, maybe potentially some resistance, but again, we are somewhat elevated here with the on the daily chart with the RSI and the volumes on oscillators. So we could get a nice little blow off here going into the $16 range and maybe consolidate. But again, if that wants to continue, we're going to be looking for $20 to $24. Downside support is going to be basically $10 and $9 range. The $9 range is going to be a little bit stronger because that was previously upward momentum going there. Kim is asking for QS. Yeah, QS, a slow goer, kind of a one that's kind of been meandering, kind of ping-ponging as we call it. Again, huge hype train going all the way up, and then bursted here and came pretty strong crashing down here, and a huge gap down. But on the charts here, it's actually not looking too terrible here. It's the 5 and 8s are starting to curl over here, and it has broken through the 50-day, which is fine. But this thing has had so much momentum to the upside. A pullback would be somewhat to be considered. Not I won't say this steep of a pullback. That's a huge gap down from basically 90 to $50. That's a pretty extreme there, but it has been trying to hold between the 55 and the 50 SMA here. So it's something to really look out for, potentially to kind of hold here. If it does break, we can easily break below 40 and even down to 35, which kind of where's the 145 EMA is, which I potentially was looking for some initial stronger support at that level there. But to the upside, we really need to get that 5 and 8 crossing through the 21 EMA to get any kind of movement going there. Oliver, did I miss? Nope, we did not do Tesla. Let's go ahead and just jump into some Tesla. Of course, Tesla. Wow. Again, what a stock, right? Fantastic moves from the split, from the meandering battery day, and then getting accepted into the S&P 500. But now we're getting this huge movement higher. A little bit kind of like just kind of trading sideways, kind of like just waiting to see what happens. Again, we have earnings on Wednesday afternoon for Tesla. The expected move is about $75, so be mindful of that. So if it's trading currently right now, or let's say 850, that can easily bring it back down to 775 potentially, if depending on the quarter goes. But if the quarter is fantastic, that $900 range is going to be blown right through the it's going to be like a rocket ship leaving the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, a lot of people are coming in now. Thank you. Okay. SY is saying AUPH got FDA approval for Friday afternoon. Nice. Okay. What's up, David? What's up? What's up? Johnny, how you doing, my friend? Thank you guys for coming out. That is correct. Yeah, they're mostly Blackberry is not the phones anymore. That they completely switched and pivoted their overall company from that. Okay, I did it. I saw someone post a CSIQ. I don't know. I always get this. Is this one of those the SPACs? Okay, this is so okay. Canadian Solar. Okay, look at this. Like this looks fantastic, right? It hit an all-time high this week, right into that Fibonacci number on $63. Would kind of need to update this a little bit to maybe move some tiles higher. But again, this thing with under the current administration potentially could continue going higher. There's going to be potentially a large infrastructure bill going out, really putting a lot of cash in the pockets for companies that are trying to do clean energy, especially here in the United States. If we get a break above that $70 range into $81, this is definitely some longer dated targets is around $80 to $90 for Canadian solar. But you have to be mindful of that. We have to be potentially a pullback to the 21 EMA, currently around $55, could be in tune there. Let's see here. Can we look at SQ and ZM, asking Johnny? Yeah, we can look at SQ. So SQ kind of got dragged down. I'm going to say it because I'm looking at the daily chart here, Johnny. I think it was due to their overall like Bitcoin stance. I think the chart looks just fine still for if you're a bull on it. It looks just fine if you're a complete bull on it. With that being said, it didn't close below the 34 EMA on the weekly side here. We're looking for some initial bounces if it does pull back to around 214 to 215. If we do get a bounce at that level. That being said, we do have a squeeze. RSI is pretty trying to wake up from hibernation mode, and at the same time we have the volumes on oscillator kind of doing a spike up here. So if we get this in negative territory where it's currently at is negative 11, if that pops up above 0 with some true volume coming in here, we can see this easily come up to 240, even to 245 to test in a very short period of time. Because we've seen a little bit of headaches, little pullbacks in SQ over the last coming months, but it has been, again, the path of least resistance is still higher. If some things have starting to concern would be if we did get a large red candle through the 50-day, potentially down to 205 to 200 would be something very concerning. Again, that would have to be some kind of overall market pullback or something strictly falling into SQ's camp. All right, next one is going to be the old Zoom. This one's tickling my spidey senses here, in the sense of it has been a very awful downward trend ever since the top here that we saw basically in October, and it has just been continuously going down here, somewhat kind of bouncing off that 200 EMA here around the 330-ish range, and looking for some consolidation here. But we have not really been able to break above that $400 level. So for the $400 level is pretty significant to see that potential move higher into that 430, even to 450. It can come back down the short-term support around 360 to 350, but it is a little bit of a sideways action, and really somewhat of a key point. If it wants to build up, it could break higher. If it doesn't, it could be kind of breaking back down to maybe even test that 330 level there again. Yeah, GME. Yes, we can talk about GameStop, everyone. That's going to be something that we can discuss. Of course, it's completely out of the hands of true investors. Let's be honest with this, and it's completely absurd on these moves here. Again, I think everyone can agree on that. With these moves higher here with the GME, we are clearly seeing that $71 range potential be some overhead resistance. Again, we closed around $65, which is kind of in between these levels. In aftermarket hours, we actually went down to $60. So if we do get a pullback, the first level is going to be around $48 to $50. If it wants to pull back substantially more, it can come back down to 33, even down to $30. But the real targets that we're seeing again is just trying to test that all-time high. And really the hardest part's going to be to match is the amount of volume coming in here. Scalpers are going to be looking at this one tomorrow with a fine-tooth comb and looking for any kind of stress fractures or any kind of signs of a bear trying to show its head. I just got to be very careful with this one. I'm not going to be able to touch it. I'm sorry. Alan, can we look at GE, please? Of course, of course. GE, I like this one as well. This is reporting on Monday, right? No, Tuesday morning, right? Tuesday before the bell. Yeah, I like this one a lot. Again, it's GE. It's not a fun, fancy, fantastic company. But this being said here, it's been holding that 21 EMA, had a huge move higher again to the reopening of different various industries and sections. Of course, GE is going to be definitely taking a good look at the sense of having any kind of bill being passed for infrastructure, and of course their overall reopening of the economies. With that being said, we are just still holding that 34 EMA. It's still in that nice little buy zone in between the 21 and 34. It's still above the 1083 range, which was, again, it's above the 50-day. If we do get a pullback, I think the expected move is only like $1. So that would potentially put it to around $10, which is kind of basically, but we do have some pretty strong support there. With that being said, if we break above this 1160 range, which we've kind of hit a couple times and never really been able to break out above, we can definitely see this one pop higher again to potentially even that $13, really testing the all-time high just about a year ago. All right, looks like a lot of folks are coming in. Thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Nokia. Nokia's next pump, heavy volume on leaps. Interesting. Yeah, this one looks interesting. This one has definitely been like trading sideways here for a long period of time. I don't know, again, if it's Wall Street Bets, I don't know if they're playing the plays on the 5G networks, but this one has kind of been on my radar, just kind of been like a one that hasn't really been performing very well, but it could be somewhat of a sleeper, like Evan's kind of saying here, potentially getting some movement here, holding that $4 range pretty well here, to be quite honest. If we do get a movement higher, the next level of resistance can be around $4.50 and then $5. That's going to be pretty simple layout on that sense, with earnings coming out the first week of February, so be mindful of that one. Again, it's got pretty strong support around that $4 range. If it does break that 4, we could come down to that really bad quarter they had just last quarter, with a huge gap down basically from 420 down to 336. So the 336 range is some essential support there. Kelly's asking, will GME drop after the shorts cover? I think let's be honest here, folks. I think GameStop, fantastic. I love what they do. But is it really valued at that much? I think it's a little bit, it's really what a short squeeze does. It just blows everything up, and it just gives the euphoria of like, oh my gosh, money is endless here. This is easy. I just put $1,000 and I made 10,000. Like, I'm not saying it can't continue going higher, but there will be a time where the bears do hit an iceberg potentially, and it could kind of slow down the ship and even bring it down back to the level. Not saying I agree with Andrew Left from Citron, but I am a little bit afraid that people are jumping into this stock just because it's on Wall Street Bets, just because it's up 50% in one day or 60% or whatever it was, just because of that, and not really understanding the true fundamentals of like, hey, this is a short squeeze. It was a crazy move. Can it go again? Maybe. I don't know, but I have no position in it, and I won't be able to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Let's see here. Yeah, can we do a session to explain technicals and charts? Yes, I do have a video out, but it's a little bit dated. I can definitely do a live stream on that one just to kind of literally just talk about technical analysis and how I use it. I saw someone talk about PLTR. Let's see here. Yeah, PLTR, again, doesn't have earnings. It has a demo day on the 26th, so that's something a little bit different. Again, 25% in one day, pretty fantastic, right? We are seeing it really break through that $28 range where we saw previously be some resistance. With that move higher, potentially trying to touch that 33.50 level to potentially break out higher. Again, this one is definitely one to be a little sus on and be very careful on how you're not throwing in 100% of your capital into this one stock, or even don't do 50% and then do 50% of GME. Those are a little bit more on the speculative frame of references, in the sense of it's not like nothing's guaranteed in life, but those are like on the really risk to reward ratios are pretty extreme at those levels. David said, GEVO, any thoughts, please? I'm looking to make a long position. I've been swing trading the crap out of this one. Thank you. Thank you, David. Let's take a looky-loo. Gee, I always like the ones you bring. You always bring interesting ones. Holy moly. Yeah, this one, yikes. Yeah, I think we talked about this one last live stream, right? Again, we're seeing this kind of being really strong here. Very high level of the RSI. The momentum has been extremely strong here. Look at these large green candles and movements within the sticks here. It has not really touched the 8 EMA, so the short-term support is going to be coming around the $8.50 to $8.40, basically wherever the 8 EMA lies in the daily chart. With that being said, that's going to be more of the momentum support. Stronger support would be potentially even to 6 to 5.14. So 6.25 to around $5 would be some initial support to the downside. We've seen this move in a smaller time frame come through here, so moved higher, then slowly came down to the 21 EMA. So we could kind of get this kind of large move higher, consolidate at this range here, maybe just trade sideways, wait for the longer dated moving averages to kind of catch up and kind of get that next push higher. I think that's definitely someone I'm going to be looking out for. So I'm going to be putting in some alerts around these ranges here and actually adding it to my list there. But that's a good looking stock though. I have no idea what they do, but it looks like a nice looking stock. IPOF, yes. This is, which one is this one? Okay, this is not the Sofi one. Well, this one hasn't even been announced yet, if I remember right. This is just Chamath Palihapiti's IPOs, SPACs, social capital stuff. These just literally are blank checks right now. Again, that's a SPAC where they're looking to acquire a company and bring it public through their SPAC merger. With that being said, this is very much his hype train. They're just because, hey, I love Chamath. He's a great guy, and I'm just putting money behind him, just waiting for him to announce some kind of move here. Again, it's been running pretty hot here because, again, you can see that movement between the 5 and 8 moving averages, and it's just continued to flourish at these levels here. John is asking for the fintech might be a prime target for the LEMs. I think social media, honestly, Johnny, would be I think their larger ticket item to look at those. Evan saying the Nokia $10 leaps are at 15 cents. Wow. Those definitely are going to move probably. If Nokia gets any kind of movement, those $10 will jump. Wesley, what's up, my friend? Thoughts on LMT? Yeah, they report this week, right? As it's Lockheed. Again, this is it got a little bit of a bump higher, to be quite honest with you, with the announcement of Cathie Wood's space and exploration fund, their little new ETF. Of course, Lockheed, a lot of the military defense folks They sell rockets, they sell parts, they sell computer processors, they sell the special RAM, blah, 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 blah. That could be a large component to potentially go in the ETF. You can see here, I think they actually bought some way back here. It had a huge run higher. It still has not been able to really fail from this 21 EMA here on the downward side. Again, this is a daily chart, but we've kind of zoomed in over the last 2 months here. It has not been able to get above that 21 EMA, and it has earnings coming out, so I have to be super careful on this one. It does have some support around $333, but with the expected move this week, do they have weekly options? Yeah. They are looking at basically $11 move, so $11 to $10 move here. That could easily put it back down to that level we just talked about, depending on how the overall market takes it. But we really want to see the bull case needs to start slowing down this bleed here on the longer dated moving averages. Let's see. Okay, chat is moving really fast, folks. Sorry, guys. Okay, hold on. Looks like. Hold on. I got a lot. Someone just deleted. Hold on. What the heck happened here? Okay, my chat just updated. I just saw something go through. Hold on. Sorry, folks. Oh, shoot. Okay. Looks like I just. All right. Did something happen? I hear someone say sound. David, did you hear it? Get it back? All right, it looks like I'm okay. I kind of don't know where I left off here, but looks like Jared. Jared, what's up, my friend? Good evening. Good evening. Always says in chat. Let's see here. Give me some X1. Yeah, is that that's Kathy Wood's 3D printing stuff, right? With that being said here, wow, what a move here, right? We are a little extended from the 5 and 8 moving averages, but you know, with those momentum trades, the low cap, low float stocks, these can run very easily. This target can be easily met if we do keep the momentum up to the $25 range. But $25 is potentially some overhead. That's a pretty strong overhead resistance because from the previous swing high to low, that's a key Fibonacci number at the 1618 here. With that being said, that doesn't mean it has to be halted or stopping there or potentially slowing down there. If again, it gets continuously great news, that $30 range could easily be met. Really, again, looking at that 5 and 8 moving averages to kind of entail on the particular moves here. Really getting a lot of new money into this. Look at the volume here and at the volumes on oscillators. Kind of looking at this on a weekly chart. This looks pretty insane, right? Just a couple months ago, this was traded for around $7, and now it's nearly 4 times more ahead of that. With that on this chart, looking at again, very long extended. We've kind of seen these large moves higher, then it kind of consolidates. Maybe it comes down to the 21 EMA. On the weekly side, I really like this potentially. If it hits that 25, it could easily come back down to 20-ish range if we do get that movement going forth there. Jared, love you, Ken. I appreciate that. $5. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. I do appreciate it. I would appreciate everyone if they had, if their fingers are working or their thumbs or whatever you do, if you don't mind hitting the like button or the dislike if you don't like what I'm talking about. You have freedom of your own universe. Okay, sorry. Chat is just updating like a son of a gun here. It looks like a lot of people are requesting Blackberry. We did that a couple times already. Basically, it's very much just looking at the 5 and 8 moving averages on the daily chart, because that's very much of a FOMO looking thing there. Looks like someone is asking for triple D. Again, this is very much another that is something that is the movement of the 3D printing space. I can recall back in the day where 3D printers, they would print the little trick. They still have them, but they were like all the rage when they print out these little like figurines. Again, I love my Wally. With that, one of my favorite Disney characters. I don't know what that makes me. That being said, here, these things have really rocketed higher due to the amount of influx of new capital in here, really kind of hitting in a very aggressive. I want to call it FOMO, but very heavy driven momentum trades. Because look at that. We're seeing a jump from $12 all the way up to $35 in about 2 weeks. Not saying things are possible, but with this one, like we just talked about with X1, some overhead pressure will be coming around $38, even 48 to the upside if we do get that resistance all the way up to that. With again, looking between that 5 and 8 moving averages would be the short-term support around $30. It can easily come back to $25, even $21, and that trend to the upside will be just fine for Triple D. If vaccine works, ATI will tank. I think Activision will tank if they don't get the flippin' Overwatch 2 out, man. Like, come on. Like, they need to get. Is that? I've been waiting for that for years. Again, I know Activision, Call of Duty, all that stuff is a huge thing, and people are playing it, enjoying it. But I think people still will enjoy video games. I think it's still going to be, if everyone's vaccinated and everything goes well, I think there's still going to be a pretty large party potentially into the summertime for people just having their freedom back in that sense. With Activision Blizzard here, and they need to release a new WoW, honestly, let's be honest here. With that being said here, this thing has been holding the charts fairly well here around the 21 EMA here. Looking for some overhead pressure around $98 to $100. Be mindful, we do have earnings coming up on the 4th of February. So again, if we could get a pullback to 92, even to $90, and that trend will be just fine. Even a stronger pullback to around the 88-ish level, which is the parabolic SCR dots, the trend will still just be fine to the targets, potentially trying to reach that $100 target. Oh, Kev T, $5, liked and sub. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And you have a stock. Oh, hey Ken, I would appreciate AQMS. Wow. So this is again, this is insane. Like, this is a crazy move here. Really doing next to nothing, and then getting a new huge announcement of something or some just an industry. Look at these crazy volume spikes here. Just the beginning of, or the towards the middle of December here, really seeing it grind higher here. This is again very much driven, honestly, Kev T, by the momentum here. You're seeing that 5 and 8 continuously show the support and just continue to grind higher here. With again, not solely relying just on the 5 and 8 moving averages, but then also looking at the parabolic SAR dots. So those kind of really help with the trend here. So potentially 412 would be some pretty strong support if it does come down intraday. If it closes below that, that could be the first sign or the shot across the bow of a warning, maybe a pullback stronger to that 21 to even the 34 EMA. But this thing can continue to go until it starts running out of steam, holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. Let's see here. Alan's asking if we look for AMC. Yes, we can look at AMC. AMC, yes. AMC, the movie theater company. Again, if you guys have been, I try to think the last movie I saw. I can't even remember the last movie I saw in the theater. I know it was probably at an Alamo Draft House. I might have just taken my daughter to see the Toy Story movie, the newest one. I think that's the last movie I saw. That's a long time ago. Anyways, that being said, AMC, they're on the verge of bankruptcy like 13 times through this whole pandemic here. really hitting an all-time low just a couple weeks ago around $1.91, then getting a rip higher here. I talked about it within the Discord of I'm just gonna throw a couple shekels at it and to see what happens at this low here. It was just so beaten down, so much negativity on it, and it was a fantastic, like a contrarian bet trade. These don't always work out, let's be honest with you. Really just taking the opposite end of what everyone was doing. Look at these amazing volume bars coming in. We are seeing the 5 and 8 crossing over the 21 EMA. Easy looking for some targets around $3.87 to $4 potentially if we do get some more positive news of reopening or any kind of stimulus bills going directly to them. Yes. E-Machine saying I'm deep in AMC. As I know a lot of folks that are, I think people are saying like it's a movie theater business. Like it's like they literally have they have no idea, like they've been closed. Like I don't know how they're making money. Like God bless them on how they're able to survive through this tremendous, terrible pandemic here. We did BB already, my friend. BB is really just holding that 5 and 8 moving averages up there. That makes me a cyborg, Ken. Wally makes me a cyborg. Or, Jared, it just makes me a cleaning machine that likes to keep things ordinary, and I like shiny things. I don't know. Let's see here. Javin said thoughts on CSRP. Is this the mattresses, Casper, right? Interesting. This is looking interesting here. Again, this was a newer stock, right? Yeah, it came public. Wow, it really, I forgot I looked at this one. That's a long time ago. This does not look very well. Again, we do have a lot of overhead pressure around the 200 EMA here. But if you want to take the contrarian bet, it is trying to push higher here because the RSI is pretty lifted fairly high here. The point of breakout is basically the $8 range. I'm going to put it around this, like the 793 because I'm a nerd like that. If we do get that movement higher and really break above that $8 range, that could try to put it in some territory. Because again, we've seen it break multiple times above the 200 EMA, but never really got a strong follow through there. With that being said, I don't know the product very well. I own a purple mattress. I own 2 of those, but that's a long story there. That being said, the breakout really needs to be above 8, and the ticks need to stay above the 200 EMA. We do have some significant support around 675, even down to 650 there. Prime, thank you for the $5. Thanks, you guys. AREC Inc.'s exclusive deal for tech from Penn State regarding TEER. What's the ticker? Is it AREC? American. Okay, I can see the movement here again. A little bit of a light float. Like, look at these are not my favorite stocks, honestly, my friend. But we're seeing a slightly move higher here on the 21 EMA here, trying to push out here. We've seen previous large spikes in the stock before, and then it kind of comes back down. This one's a little bit slower, easy grinder here. But this is definitely looking like it potentially could try to go higher here with a lot of potential overhead pressure coming in around this like $3, $3.15 range. Again, be very mindful of these very large spikes up if some kind of news does break. If I did get the ticker symbol right, AREC, yeah. This is definitely something to look out for. Looking at the weekly chart, I always kind of want to look at this. This was used to be a $14 stock, so I don't know if there was like any splits or anything involved in this. I'm not seeing anything on the radar here, but that is definitely something to be very mindful about. There has been a lot of upside on this one just before. Let's see here. John's asking for Starbucks. Yes. I'm not a Starbucks coffee drinker, more of a Dunkin' kind of folk. I'm actually more of a guy that makes his coffee at home kind of dude. And buy my coffee from Costco. And again, Costco, if you're listening, hit your boy up for a sick sponsorship. I love your products. I'm drinking your sparkling water. I'm drinking your water. I had your chicken pot pie, the large one from the white meat from the rotisserie chicken for lunch. Love your stuff. And I use your toilet paper. So it's all around. Whatever goes in comes out. You know what I got? I got you covered. Anyways, Starbucks. Yeah, this has earnings on Tuesday, the 26th. Yeah, Tuesday. Again, be very mindful of like this really is going to be heavily on store comps and what they're overall projecting out. With that being said, it has been showing some kind of a downward movement around 100 to 100 to 101 support there. What's the expected move for the week is around $5 or 480. That can easily come back down to the 50 SMA here, which is that red line here. Again, this is one I don't know too much about, to be quite honest. Looking here at the chart with earnings, if earnings wasn't on the horizon here, I think this could just be kind of just trading sideways. But now it's just kind of trading sideways and just waiting for earnings. It's more of a magnet. Is it going to hit 110 or 98? That's kind of in the middle between these very large Fibonacci numbers, and just kind of waiting to kind of see what happens, and maybe potentially just a great stock to maybe sell some iron condor in for the weekly expiration there, maybe. Oh, right. Guys, thank you everyone for showing up today. Insane stuff. Jared, yes, I want that Costco sponsorship. It's not even about the money. I just want to be the person to say I am sponsored by Costco. I saw something talk about OKE. I don't know what that is. I don't know who that said that. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Ooh, what happened? This thing has not been performing very well. What does this company do? Is this like in corporate? You know what this looks like? I bet you this is like corporate workplaces or something. OKE stock. What does this do? It's a natural gas company exchange. Natural gas and like okay. I don't know too much about natural gas industry, but as of right now, we're seeing somewhat of a top here around 45. Again, we had that large move higher, hit that level, came right back down. So that 45 is going to be some potentially pressure there. Going to do a fib there. Look at that. Comes in exactly near that 50 percentile move from the previous swing high to low. So that $45 range is something that we really need to see potentially try to break out from there. We do have a nice little consolidation here, kind of like a little wave pattern going higher here. Short-term support is where it currently sits around 41, but even can come back down to $40 and everything will be just fine. With that being said, it looks like it still pays a pretty healthy dividend, honestly, as well. It looks like a lot of folks potentially would just be collecting that dividend on this one. But again, 45 is a very key level to see it break out from there. Again, that's that swing high to swing low there for the Fibonacci tree. Um, RJ saying whatever goes in comes out doesn't get you a Costco sponsor. I don't know that well. If I get that Costco sponsorship, it's going to be fantastic. PSTH, yes, talking about SPACs that haven't been inflated yet. Again, PSTH, this is my good buddy. Not a good buddy. Haven't talked to him for and ever. But I would love to have a cup of coffee with Mr. Bill Ackman. Get that Costco sponsorship and talk to Mr. Bill. I'll be fantastic here. Again, this is a SPAC, a blank check company. A lot of hype on this one, especially for a potential announcement of whatever company they try to bring public. This thing, again, is slightly differently modified than your traditional SPAC. It really plays in the hands of longer-term investors and not really just getting rid of the shares once the company makes the announcement. with, again, this movement, it has been following some of the Fibonacci numbers here in this move higher here. We're looking for some consolidation around that $28 to $29 range where we're currently seeing kind of come in here. A pullback even down to 28 will be just fine. But again, this trend is truly trying to break $30. I think if it does get a if the company they acquired does very well, or people are very happy with it, I think it can easily reach $40 to $50 again, depending on what company they acquire. So that's going to be definitely a very interesting ride, without a doubt. Speaking about another IPO, we're looking at IPOE, and that is, of course, Sofi. Sofi is the financial service company that's basically trying to get people out of debt, student loans, and all that kind of various stuff. On just kind of, they're saying that they're trying to help folks get out of debt, but they're basically like a more of a futuristic millennial bank in that sense. Again, once the announcement happened, you get that huge rocket ship higher. You literally get that elevator button. You just hit money, and it just goes higher. Kind of holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. Potentially, we could maybe get this wearing off here, depending on when the company does go public and it gets acquired here. I'm looking for some short-term support around $20, but it can easily come back down to $17.50, and that trend will be just fine. J&J, yes, J&J. I love me some J&J. It's my longer term account. I think if they get any kind of news that will move us higher, this comes out on Tuesday morning on the earnings. We'll easily run up for the week. It's only expecting a move of, let's just call it $7 because we're all friends here. It can easily run up to 170. If we do get that bump to 170, this trend has been very strong here. I've been talking about this one since the early stage of December. I made some bold bets within my Discord where I'm saying like J&J is going to be the one that's going to be doing the vaccine for one shot, one dose, and you're good to go. These are the folks that are able to produce the vaccine at a very high rate. Again, this is not a Moderna where they have to outsource and do all the kind of things. Like J&J, it's got everything ready, set, go, and it's going to make really try to get us back to normal here. With that being said here, that 162 has been some overhead pressure again. With earnings coming out, if it's really going to be pretty soon in the earnings, so it's going to be very much a coin flip. We can support to the downside is going to be around 158, and again, that upward pressure is going to be around 170. Of course I've had, Alan. Of course I've tried the probiotics. um, Biden's been speaking out against fracking. Yeah, fracking got a bad name, right? That's interesting. Hold on, my chat is updated here. SEMS. What is that? SEMS. Yeah, I can't add too much to that. That thing has just gone parabolic. Really looking for some support, maybe around $2, but that can easily pull back if the momentum starts dying off to that 140 to 150 range. GL. Okay, this is just Blue Mobile Incorporated. This is just a very choppy stock here. Look at this. Like, it has had multiple issues trying to break above 10. With that being said, we do have earnings coming out on this one. I thought, was this one I saw? I saw this on someone's radar before that. This one rings a bell here. Yeah, this thing looks a little choppy here. That being said, that $10 range again is looking for a breakout. We've seen a breakout, but not really get well above $10, and we have some short-term support basically around the 850-ish range. Mike's asking for the old Etsy. Yeah, Etsy. This thing has been absolutely gangbusters here. I was a total schmuck and I got out of it, I believe, in this like little toss up here around the end of October into November timeframe. And really just got shooken out of it. But then, of course, like normal stocks, after Ken gets out of it, it just prints money. And I hope that you were been able to capitalize on most of this trade here. Fantastic moves here. Again, really into not just isolating the holiday season and capturing that, but I think it's really just putting things on the map of letting folks create an income outside of a normal job. With that being said, we do have some short-term support around 200 to 203, and even some stronger support down to 193 to 195. With this to continue to move higher, again, this is really going to potentially move on some key earnings coming out. Of course, with Amazon, things like that would be kind of a mover where we could see this kind of buckle to it. Again, it's not really like overextended here at all, but we've seen a little bit of a run here and it pulls back to the 21 EMA. So this is potentially what we could see and maybe happen. Get that little run higher and maybe consolidate within like a $10 or $15 range and just kind of bounce around at that level there. Mm. Boo. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I don't know, Johnny, on which one again, that I haven't read anything on which one, what company they're acquiring for Bill's acquiring. Tommy's asking for LG VW. Yeah, this is another one that has been acquired, a medical diagnostics company, if I'm saying that all right. Really strong looking chart here. It's been holding that 21 EMA very well here. You can kind of see I had alert to see if it does pull back. It never really did. Really looking to kind of really hold this 21 EMA here with the parabolic SAR dots and just continue to grind higher, potentially running into some support or resistance to around that $9 or $23 range there. Dollar Bill, thank you for the $5. Can you chart SRACT, please? What? Blah, 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 blah. SRAC. Standing Road. Wow. Okay, that is a beautiful looking chart. It's a SPAC, yeah. Um, Very aggressive SPAC here. Look at these wave patterns that we're seeing here, kind of come through here with those like again. It has come down to the 21 and 34 EMA, but it's really ricochets higher from that. I'm not sure exactly what this SPAC is, but that looks really pretty here. Let me do. I can do a quick fib here for you, my friend. Let's do swing high to swing low. Yeah, look at these wide ranges here. With that being said, if we do get a break here, maybe some consolidation between that $23 to $26 range, the next target is going to be $30 or $32 to the upside, and then 37. You can see here on the way up, we had a little bit of issues and strong support around $20. So again, that kind of is where the 21 EMA and that 618 kind of lie. So if we do get a pullback in the overall market or whatever reasons, look at potentially 23 in the short term and then $20 to be a little bit more superior of support to the downside. But if this trend wants to continue and really push the stock higher, we're looking for breaking of 26, 27 to potentially reach that $32 target there, my friend. So thank you again for the $5, my friend, and hopefully I was able to help you and entertain you on that one. JMIA, yeah, this one, Again, this is another one that got away, right? Look at, I had an alert at $39. It never reached $39 or $40 basically on this previously kind of pullback here. Breaking out here, really making a beautiful pattern, breaking above 47, really just a traditional cup hair pattern and just now breaking higher. If this wants to continue, the next target would be basically $62 to $65 to the upside. A pullback, even back down to 50 would be just fine. Maybe consolidate a little bit, shake out some weak hands, maybe trade sideways for a little bit, and then push higher again. But this is a beautiful looking chart there. Prime, I don't know what you mean. What do you guys hold as capital? I don't know what you mean by that. Oh, they're merging with a space company in Q1. Fantastic. That's okay. That's a great bet. Without a doubt, again, space is the future, right? David, what's up, my friend? EXPI. Xperia World Holdings. Wow. Very interesting chart here as well. Very wavy pattern here. Looking for an easily some support to the downside or potentially around 90, but this is a crazy move here. Looks like they have a split coming up, so I don't know if this is the a catalyst for this maybe to move here. Again, people think splits equal free money. I want to be mindful of that. It is a little bit elevated here. We've seen this pattern before where it hits the top bands of the RSI and kind of slows down here a little bit. Once the stock kind of hits that $100 range, it kind of gets that like little bit of FOMO out of its sort of out of its blood here, and really gets some movement to go higher there. Interesting stuff, without a doubt. Let's see here. Anyone in SPNR or Fuse? No, I don't even know those, Prime. What's Fuse? That sounds familiar. Oh, another acquisition company. Yeah, it looks like, wow, that looks like there was some kind of announcement here. Look at that volume, and then now it's been holding at 5 and 8, potentially waiting for the day of once they get acquired, maybe get a little sell off or a little bit of movement from there. Earl G, what's up, my friend? You want to look at Nvidia? Nvidia, ugh, what a chart here! Like this thing, what a headache. Has literally been since like the summertime just trading sideways. It has not done. It has done a lot. But it hasn't gone anywhere. It's just gone up, down, left, right, blah, 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 and hasn't really done much of anything outside of that. To any kind of movement to the upside, we need to break above that 560-ish range and even back down to 515, 514 to really see any kind of movement that we could see. This has been in a very long squeeze. I'm more of a bullish character with my little bull here. And I would love to see this to potentially test 600 with 620 with some targets for just this year for me. With that being said, that's my opinion. But if the stock wants to go the other directions and start breaking down to 515 to 510, then we have to start considering other things. But again, this is just kind of have to sit on your hands and wait, maybe sell some puts on here, maybe sell some iron condors, whatever you feel comfortable with the options. But if you're buying stock, you're really just kind of waiting for a movement above the 562 for the long side, or to the downside if you want to cut it or get out at around the 515-ish range. Oh, SFW. Sorry, I missed that one. SFM. I don't know what this stock does, but this looks like it got really beaten up here. Looking like it's having some issues trying to get back above the 200 EMA. It looks like it's really trying and poking its head out. a really strong point. It needs to start getting above this. The moving average is really trying to push this one higher again. RSI and volume zone, yeah, it really just needs to stay above $21 if it wants to any kind of movement to kind of go up there. John, Jared, I'm so sorry to hear that. My grandfather was a millionaire before the Depression and late. He loaned out. Okay, sorry, maybe I missed, I wasn't keeping up with chat there. Looks like you guys are talking about losing money. RJ saying CCIV, stepped away, so I haven't, rewind. Yeah, CCIV, that is the Lucid, right? Yeah, this is the Tesla luxury car, not duplicate, but their competitor, right? With this again, this is just complete FOMO on this one. Like, look at this, look at these crazy moves here. Like, if you put something like the next Tesla or something else in the camp of, oh, this is the Tesla of Southern Virginia, oh, this is Tesla of Germany. I think this is again, they have a lot of stuff to back it. They have a former like senior engineer, all this fantastic stuff, and of course, I think competition's fantastic for any kind of new market. That being said, I'm a little bit skeptical on this in the sense of just the whole hype train behind it. Honestly, RJ, not saying that you're the hype beast behind it, but looking for this very large moves higher. I think there's going to be, once you start hitting some particular levels like we're seeing here, we need to kind of start keeping it on somewhat of a leash here. I cannot honestly buy it at these levels for a personal account. But if it starts coming back down to 17, even down to 15, maybe once I get a little bit more information on it. I usually like to hold these for longer term positions, but this thing has just gone skyrocketed. Oh, how much dry powder I keep on the sidelines, Prime? Normally in my options trading account, my trading account's a little bit different than my long-term account. My long-term account right now, I maybe have 15% in cash, which is actually pretty high in that sense. Then at the same time on my trading account, those are usually, I don't know, it's probably at 40% cash right now. Because I took a lot off the table this week because a lot of movements that I had were really played out to my side. And of course, we're sitting on some cash to set up on selling some premium into the earnings all this week. Okay, oh my gosh, this lovely chart here. RJ, I don't get hyped. I just look at things that are being hyped. Exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Like, because again, it might be a fantastic companies, but you might get that pullback and a chance to buy it at a cheaper price, even though it's a really good company. I saw Drew talk about FUBO. Again, this thing has run quite a bit as well. Previously went up all the way to $62, came back pretty drastically, it went up pretty fast and then came down really fast. Bounced off around that $25-ish target here, kind of around the 50-day kind of lies, and now it's kind of been consolidating here, trying to break higher. We talked about this in the live stream about a couple days ago. It really needs to break above $40, honestly, Drew, to really see that movement continue higher. It's just more like kind of chop right now and just kind of waiting for the next expected move. Nice move higher here, but this could be just like potentially a bull trap. So I'm gonna be very sus about it around that $40 range. To really see that movement go higher, we need to stay above $40 to really see that continue going higher. If we don't, the bears can come in and we can potentially see it back down to $30 to $33. Johnny's looking for is it IRN? My gosh, that looks. Is it IRN or is it IM? Yeah, none of those are both loading. I must be doing fat fingers again. Ask someone to do Roku. Yeah, we can look at Roku. What a fantastic move. Of course, with the really good news outside of Netflix of subscriber growth, this is really somewhat of the middle ground of like Roku doesn't care how many subscribers Amazon, Netflix, Disney has. They're just the middle platform, the software that enables people to watch it on their TV. So they're just like super happy about it. Of course, with everyone being at home, guess what? Everyone's watching HBO Max, Disney, Netflix, Hulu, sports, or whatever they do, channel, the FUBO. But literally, Roku's just kind of the toll company that just like, okay, you can bring all your goods through our roads, but we're just going to tax you for it. That being said, we'll see. This again has been moving substantially higher. A little bit, if this wants to continue, we want to see it back above 450 with some targets around 466 to 475. But we do have some, this has come down pretty harsh to the 21 EMA. So if we do get a pullback in the overall market or whatever reasons in Roku, we could see it come back down to the 384 to 370 range quite easily. Oh, it looks like, oh, Alan for $5. Thank you, my friend. You don't have to do that. A silly question for a silly time. Do you think Tesla will split again if it keeps going up? And and guy, don't forget about that like buttons. I appreciate that, Alan. Do you think Tesla will split again? Honestly, maybe. I don't think there's like a time limit of how many times you can split. I don't know how much it's like on a costing basis for them to do that. But looking at Tesla again, that split just happened a couple months ago, and it's already doubled at that limit there. I think it could easily, again, long-term investor here, so I'm talking my book, that it can easily potentially run higher. I think $1,000 is within target easily for Tesla this year. Even looking for some targets around 1,200, which is $1,200 to $1,300 is my target for this year for Tesla. Just to be whatever, if anyone actually cares about that. Could it split again? Yes. To take your questions and kind of change it there, Alan, I would love for Amazon to split. I don't know what I have to do for Bezos for him to split that company, because trying to trade those options, sometimes you have to do spreads on it. I just want to be able to trade Amazon a little bit more easier for options. And again, let's make it a little bit more affordable for some of the folks to try to buy some Amazon stuff. I understand the fractional share stuff, but like that. But let's be some real here. So let's let Bezos know about that. LRN is asking for Johnny. LRN. Yikes. This is like a learning company. Am I thinking about the same thing? So with this being said, again, it hit that hype all the way up here in the summertime. Again, this is probably, if I'm thinking of the right company, of the movement of people staying at home, schools not opening up, kids not able to learn. Zoom is basically the new teacher. But once the vaccine and everything was announced, this thing has been kind of crashing down here. With, again, just looking strictly at the chart here, I don't care what business it's in. It has had a lot of downward movement, has not been able to get back over the 21 EMA, finally kind of bottoming here around that $23 to $22 here. Again, nice little contrarian bet. We do have earnings on the 26th after the close, so be mindful of that. Does it have weekly options? It does not. So that's going to be a very tough one to look at for the expected move here. But that being said, some targets to really break out is above $26 to $27. Again, that's the 200 EMA. It has not been able to really get above that. So hopefully that was helpful for you, Johnny. Solaris Prime, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. You guys are giving it a lot of love today. I really do appreciate that. And everyone, please welcome Prime to the family. I really do appreciate that. William, we already did that one, and please don't spam. That's not really cool, man. That's not cool. We don't like that. No spamming. Someone's asked about AMC. We talked about AMC just a little bit. AMC was very much a bottom fish trade. There's a little couple of shekels on it. Potentially looking for $4. If it breaks $4, I think it could easily run. Again, it's very risky trade because again, the company is having capital issues because again, none of their theaters are really open to really view movies, especially here in the United States, and really have to look out for again any kind of further closures and things like that, and they're really just trying to raise money. Jared says, "Make me a mod." Ken, is that a moderator? Can I do that? Add moderator. Oh, I made you there one. I don't know what that means. Does that work, Jared? I don't know what I just gave you. Hold on. I just think I just messed something up here. Did I click on the right button? Hold on. Sorry, folks. Okay, it looks like you're a moderator. All right, Jared, I think I just gave you Thor's hammer, so you can go ahead and have fun with that. Alan says, "P.S. The devil won't let Bezos split stock if it wasn't part of the deal." Oh, he has the band hammer, a band hammer. Well, if he goes crazy with it, I'll I don't I again, I'm on the camp of I trust people, and if they prove me wrong, I can just easily take it away, right? I think. So, anyways, and Jared, thank you for the ongoing support. It really does mean a lot. It makes a lot of fun to see people enjoy the content. Okay, sorry. So finally got rid of all that stuff. Okay. Chris, you want to be mine? Okay, I trust you. Just be very. I appreciate that, guys. That takes a little bit of workload off my head there. I really do appreciate that. But do. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Sorry to talk about CC. Alex, we did talk about CCIV, a very aggressive momentum trade, really holding that 5 and 8 moving averages there. I saw NIO. Okay, let me get back to the stocks here. Sorry, I was taking care of some spammers. I got Chris and Jared on the call here to help me out with that. NIO, what a move here, right? This thing has been pretty strong here. It has been holding that 5 and 8 moving averages here. It's kind of coming down to that 57-ish price target. It bounced off that pretty hard here. If Ariel is listening, you were right here. Getting that large move higher to that $62 range. If we get a break above 62.27, this thing can easily run up to $66 to $70 once again. Very much a momentum trade here as well. Be very mindful behind these very aggressive moves. Again, NAO has had a absolutely astonishing story, trading from $2 just a couple months ago, and has been riding up here, really just trying to take part of the new EV stuff, especially trying to expand aggressively in China and using the battery swap technology to their advantage over there. Okay, let's see here. I think I'm in good hands. I got Jared and Chris on spam duty, so I appreciate that. And they're nice guys. They're not just gonna kick you out of for no reason. Just again, I don't think they'll be kind and give everyone a warning. And if they do it again, then they can put them in timeout. I think Chris and Jared, you should be able to see it, and you can put them in timeout, right? Okay, I see that. Okay. Okay, sorry, I'm getting a little bit mixed up here. Do. Ken, you signed your life away to Jared. I trust people. I trust until you break. Let's see here. I like CLOV2. That's Clover? That was Chamath's other spec, right? I like this one a lot, honestly. A friend of mine pinged me this morning about this. I like this a lot. It's kind of it's a contrarian bet now. The overall movement has already happened. People are kind of getting out of it. It was that SPAC trade. I think this was IPOC, right? And this was a large move higher here. Looking for, again, some consolidation around that 21 to 34 range. It hasn't had too much of the chance to really consolidate in this range between like 14 and like 1350 range. But if this can consolidate here, even in a pullback around 13, lower 13s to higher 12s will be just fine. Again, this thing has been very much beaten down. I'm looking for this to consolidate, build a strong base, and then be able to get into it to kind of see it ride higher for a longer term investment there. Let's see here. INXP. Yeah, I have nothing. I can't even see the chart on this one, Matt. I'm sorry, I can't. I know you love those penny stocks, but I don't see on the hourly chart. This looks crazy. Like on the hourly chart, this is why like the penny stocks are a little bit. You have to be very careful. They literally are very much manipulated by algorithms. So that being said, here, that 34 EMA on the hourly chart looks like very strong support. So support potentially around $1.46. Vincent's asking for tan. Yes, I love me some tan. This one again is the solar ETF with the Biden initiative and the potential moving of a very large contract going out or a bill, a stimulus bill for infrastructure, and especially focusing on clean energy. I think this thing could really rip higher. Again, having a little bit longer term view and investment side on it, really seeing it try to break above 23, for longer dated targets from 160 to even to 170 for this year. But this thing has been holding that 21 EMA fairly well. So any kind of pullback to the 21, even the 21 between the 34, this has been a very nice buying opportunity as well. Potentially, depending on what your risk to reward is, this is trying to potentially try to break above that 123 to 125 there. Phenomenon 51 says, hey, can you take a look at Nat and Lemonade, please? Yeah, so Net is the Cloudflare. This one is, again, talking about a cup and handle pattern here. Look at this movement here. It's kind of been rocketing back. If we get a move above that, let's call it $86 to $87, we could get that little large, look great. That move higher to potentially to 100. Again, stocks love to break $100 for something like it's just like a little phenomenon of sense of the movement. It's just kind of like a magnet to be mindful of that. And then you asked about lemonade. I love me some lemonade right now. With that being said, this thing went really parabolic, hit that fib number here around 180, then came back down. It didn't come crashing back down because if crashing back down would have crossed the 5 and 8 through the 21 EMA and made it substantially lower here, where you're looking for some support around that 21 EMA. Maybe building a little bit of base here, like we saw on the others previous charts, maybe building that base and maybe trying to create a cup and handle and or I said maybe a lot on this chart and really try to maybe test that 180 range back above there. But we have some short-term support around 140 and even back down to 130 there. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Guys, thank you. Yeah, exactly, Christopher. The BB or Blackberry is another one that Wall Street Bets is in short squeeze list. I thought bought calls on Thursday. It looks like it's starting to go up on Friday. May have an Amazon deal. Was on December. Yeah, like BB is just a crazy move here. It's been insane here. With this very large move higher again, holding that 5 EMA. We have some short-term targets around that $15 to $16 range if it does get up to that level here. But again, it's really much the wild, wild west for Blackberry. Again, once you get in these very aggressive moves higher here, we're really just kind of waiting for the damage to stop or the actions to stop. Williams asking for GSAT. So that's a satellite company, right? Again, this is also a speculation of going into the fund for ARC that we talked about, their space fund, and really seeing this potentially to grind higher here. I think we just saw that with Tesla. They're shot another satellites up today. Again, that's why, sure. Not Tesla, SpaceX. Oh my gosh, my brain. Anyways, this is a little bit more of a speculative play. But that being said, it has been holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. If it starts breaking below the 90 cents range, that could get a substantial pullback. But if it wants to continue going higher, it needs to hold that 5 and 8 moving averages there, my friend. Okay, a lot of things are coming through here. Can we look at lazy and tell for options here? LAZ. Is that Lazy Boy? I never heard of Lazy. Lazy Days Holding. What do they do? I've never heard of this stock in my life. I have no drawings on this. What is this? An RV company. Lazy Day Holding operates recreational vehicles, dealerships, and Lazy Days in names in the United States. It provides RV sales, parts, services, aftermarket parts and accessories, RV camping facilities. The company offers various new and used RVs on site. Okay, so it's everything to do within the RV business. So that's very interesting to say the least. Let's see here. I like it. That being said, it's again a very much a growing case without a doubt. With continuously growth in RV and people not wanting to travel that much, they really just want to look for affordable stay. On the options, yeah, no options yet. With this being said, this was a penny stock. If it gets added into the larger indexes, that's when they will be adding options. This is definitely one. I like this one actually. It has been riding higher, a little bit higher here, maybe a pullback to around 17. And then you want to look for TELL. Um, what is this one? I don't know this one either. Very interesting one as well. Look at the fibs here. Went from the $8 range before the pandemic, came all the way down to 67 cents, has done next to nothing for months and months, and now coming back to life. I'm not sure what this company does, but it is kind of following the fib here. So it hit a little bit of resistance around 239, now hitting 345. If this trade and momentum wants to continue here, this is looking a little steep here because you're seeing the very reddish on the RSI here. Potentially looking, if at 345 doesn't break, we could see it come back down to 239 or 240 in the short term, to even back down to $2, kind of around the 200 EMA there. With that being said, that 431 is a really key target to potentially test. That's the 50 percentile move from the previous swing high to low. But with the options on this one, I don't know what the company does, so it's going to be hard for me to tell you what options to buy. But holy moly, there's a lot of options on this one. What is this company? Now I got to look it up. It's a natural gas company. Okay. I don't know too much about natural gas, but there's a lot of options going out for leaps. Interesting stuff. And nothing too exciting, but look at those options all the way up for 2022. Interesting stuff. They could just be hedging their stock position there. It's gonna be very hard to tell. Again, I hate to do any comment. I don't know anything about the natural gas space. Okay, let's see here. Okay, a lot of people are coming in hot here. Yes, this is the Thinkorswim platform. Yeah, now, I'm gonna do another video on kind of breaking down the roles of that. I love the name Lazy Days. I know, just kind of relaxing, retirement kind of stuff. Let's see here. Yeah, RV is definitely a very hot. Yes. Um, Coach B is asking for Pack B. Would be love to get your thoughts. Is this Pacific Science? Blah, 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 blah. Pacific Science. Yeah, Pacific Bioscience. Yeah, this is one of the Kathy Woods stocks within their genomic stuff ETF. Very aggressive moves here. Again, if we do get a pullback, we're going to be looking for around 32 for some initial support here. In the short term, it's just trading just fine here. Just kind of entering. What the heck? My password just came through. Really kind of bouncing around here. If we do get a pullback, we're going to be looking for some 21 EMA for some support going forth there. With that being said, oh, excuse me, anything can happen, but if we consolidate here, maybe wait for the moving averages to kind of catch up a little bit and maybe get that curl higher to potentially break above that $42 range there. Jared's asking David S for moderator. David, if you want to become a moderator, just let me know. He says, thanks, Jared. My wife may cut my nuts off. We don't want that. Okay, sorry. The chat is moving so fast here, guys. There's too many people in the chat here. Can we have like 150 of you leave and come back in a little bit? We just have to do like rotating groups here. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. I saw Val. That's where the chat was moving. So again, this stock had a huge, pretty large run up here. Kind of has like not switched this trend here. It has been holding that 34 EMA, which again, 21 EMA is a little bit more aggressive. The 34 EMA is what I kind of like to look at on the close here. for those little bit potential buys here. And guess what? It came on Friday, came right down to that 34 EMA. Then I put a target out to potentially if it breaks here. If we can get this movement to bounce higher into next week, or even consolidate within that like $17 to $16 range, and they'll be just fine. Kind of like these moving averages to kind of catch up here, maybe build a nice strong base and get that next kick higher, really to try to break above $18 to $20 in the basically. I have some calls out in the summer for around $20, so we'll see how that one plays out. Not a large position, but it works. Okay, sorry, chat is moving really fast. Okay, looks like, wow. Do I have to, wow. So Jared and Chris, do you guys see this crazy thing from Inside Trading Tips? Just literally spammed me like 7 times there. Wow. BNGO, yeah, I saw BNGO really again. Seen a lot of coverage on this one. Has been very aggressive here. This is again the genomics company that's supposed to be making a better processing of genomics and breaking down at a faster rate here. Um, Fibonacci looking at and just technically looking at, it's looking very strong. It is still holding that 5 and 8 moving averages there. It's somewhat cooled off a little bit because again, look at that volume has kind of come down here slightly. If we get any kind of like a stall in here, maybe around this $8 or $9 range, we maybe can consolidate. If we don't consolidate and people just think this is going to try to go to 20 and it doesn't, we could get some weak hands flushed out and we can easily come back down to around that 550 range there. I saw someone talk about. Okay. AIXT. Artificial tech. Okay, I can't look at that one. That's a little bit too, not much I can add to that one. We did GME. GME is going to be in a whole different planet, my friend. That's going to be a very tough one to look at there. I should type out a rules list, shouldn't I, Chris? I'm not very well organized. uh, yeah, I should have like the ticketing system, like at a deli. All right, numbers 1 through 50. Come on in. Get your roast beef sandwiches and turkey cuts. Um, let's see here. I saw LAC come through. Again, of course, lithium stuff. Anything with lithium, EV, anything has just been completely insane here. Really large move here, hitting that level around 25. Again, looking for some support around 21 in the short term. If this wants to continue going higher, we're looking for that break above 25. But we do have some pretty strong support around the 21 EMA, which is around 1837. And then I saw McDonald's. Yes, they have earnings coming out. This thing has been kind of meandering as well around this range, around 215 to 210, and just kind of been bouncing around here. Definitely interesting one to see. Again, it has earnings coming out this week, I believe on Friday, Thursday morning or Thursday evening. I can't remember which one. Let me look at the chart real fast. Yeah, Thursday morning it's coming out with. So support to the downside around 207. If it does break that, we could easily come back down to 200. with the squeeze and everything's just kind of just waiting for this earnings to come out. It's really very tough chart to look at just because it's just kind of been very basic in the sense of its movement here. To the upside, we're potentially looking for around 220 if it does hit that. That's the next level to resistance to the upside, and then downside support around 208 if we get kind of movement there. The expected move for the week is basically $7, so that kind of falls in the line between those two levels there. Justin, thank you for the $5. You didn't have to do that. Thank you for the great BNGO insight. You're welcome, my friend. Let's see here. Ba-do-ba-do. How do I put chat in slow mode? Okay, I feel stupid there. I thought I saw Jared. I don't know what I meant by that. Yeah, Zuli. Yeah, I like Nokia. I'm gonna add some leaps to that. I like that play. Matt, much runners and kindness online these days. Let's see here. RMO. Yeah, this is one that we talked about last live stream as well. This kind of come back down. Really got hyped up again. Very much like the battery company that we saw in the EV stuff came pretty strong back down to the 34 EMA, potentially even going to be hitting the 50-day. The 50-day still climbing higher, so we could get a little of a bounce here with some support around 19 to around 1850. So if that does hold, we could see this potentially bounce higher here. Another 5. Kiwi and Pixel says, I bought a lot of CPRV at 4 and then 13 cents Canadian stock. The U.S. gray market looks permission thought. Is that like a crazy penny stock if you bought it at that price? So I trade. Oh wow. Okay. Why do I have? What is this over here? That's super interesting there. Honestly, I want to be straight with you, Kiwi. This is something that I usually cannot really give the world's greatest advice about because of how looking at how level this is. But since this has only been, if I took the numbers away on the side, it is very much a momentum stock. Again, it's holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. If it comes back down to around, no joke, 12 cents, we could get some more of a flush down. But again, really too much not to add there. I'm really sorry I'm not able to add too much more to that as well because again, the momentum looks like for some overhead pressure around 20 cents. But again, it's a penny stock, so these things just can't move very much there. And again, I usually just stay away from that because of the manipulation stuff. I saw someone talk about AMD. Yes, I haven't. I'm surprised it took this long for someone to ask about that. AMD, love me some AMD long term. With earnings coming out, got to be very careful to this one. I like AMD to 100. But with earnings, I have learned my lessons. I cannot put any kind of emotions into the camp of earnings because, again, I can get all hyped and so happy about it. But then I get, if I try to start spinning on what I think it should happen, that's when I start messing up. That being said, technically speaking, the expected move for the week is around $8. So that kind of puts us back potentially with that support level to around 86, even lower there. But that also puts us up to that $100 range. And I'm more of a bull on AMD, but again, a bull on AMD long term. On this quarter, I would hope for it to go higher. I would like for it to go higher, but technically speaking, it's very much a coin flip depending on what the numbers and Lisa Su and company talk about there. Let's see here. Let's see. AMD to 100. Looks like a lot of people want AMD to 100. For sure, for sure, for sure. Okay, let's see here. Looks like a lot of folks are joining. Guys, thank you so much. If you've learned anything or if you enjoyed something, if you did, hit the thumbs up or the like button, whatever they call it now, or the heart button. And if you didn't, hit the thumbs down. I appreciate that as well. I appreciate honesty as well. LMD, I saw lemon. Did I do lemonade already? I think I did, but we'll do it again. It looks like a lot of people are requesting this one. With lemonade or lemonada, with this move higher, we kind of bounced off that 180 level, looking for again, not a flush lower. We kind of bounced off that slightly the 21 EMA here, and looking for some sideways action around 150. If we can get some consolidation and maybe slow move higher, that next target would be around 180 with some short dated support around 140 to 128. But okay, this is insane, guys. Thank you for so much for everyone joining in. David is asking for VFF ready to rocket. I think so. Your thoughts, Ken? Thanks, Ken. Um, oh, David. Let me get my old fancy pen out. We're gonna type in VFF. Bye, you son of a beep. Okay, I love this chart. This looks fantastic. Look at this beautiful movement up to the 21 EMA. If this pulls back to $12, I'm not going to back up the truck because, again, I don't put my whole account in anything. But I will add to this position. I like that potentially this pull back to that 21 or the $12 target potentially. Might have to play a little bit fancy with it if we don't get to that range there, but definitely looking for that movement there. If it does pull back to that level, that would be a nice little support level. It can even come back down to $11.34 of things would be just fine. With the potential of the base building around this range and maybe testing that $14 range in the near term. But this thing looks like a very attractive stock. And thank you for sharing with the class there, David. Why did your message get restricted? Alan, I don't know. You donated $5, but what happened there? Or did it donate $5? Jared, thank you for $2. I saw the like button. I pushed it. Thank you. Thank you, D Nice. Justin, I do have a video, but it's a little bit dated on setting up the Thinkorswim charts. Um, I should have that link available. I should have that on the quick, but I have this. Alan, I don't know what happened to your message. It just went away. I was reading it. It's something about Tesla movement or stock something. Hit the like button, and then it just got restricted. Uh, Martin saying AMD to 160 will be worth Intel and more. Yeah. So if I'm going to be completely transparent here, my targets for AMD is 160, and I'm completely awesome that you mentioned that number because that's a strong Fibonacci number up there for 160. It's a Mary Jane company. Yeah, that's why. I thought that they sell fruits and vegetables. David, do you want to become a moderator? David has the plays. David's got the hot book. Um, MP, please. Yeah, this is another Chamath Papatil's plays here. This thing had a pretty large run higher here, kind of traded sideways, kind of hitting off that 21 EMA around $31 here. If this can kind of hold and kind of build a base, kind of going with the waves of the 21 EMA, we can easily see this try to break above $36 again. Again, with this move higher, this has been a pretty enormous run here, and maybe a little bit of like sideways action would be in the deck of cards just to be just fine. um, J Coast, we did NIO. NIO is definitely looking to try to potentially break above 62. If it breaks above 62, we're gonna easily see it try to break above 65. But it has very strong support around $57. Kev T with TSM, yes. Talking about AMD and Intel, but look at TSM. Like, look at this, absolutely this beauty. We got into TSM around $50. I don't want to flex, but that was fantastic call. One of my, I could make 1,000 mistakes, but I'm glad I got into TSM. This thing has, we talk about all the time. It trades sideways, moves higher. Trades sideways, moves higher. So potentially to see on what happens with AMD and Nvidia and Intel and things like that, we can easily see this trade sideways potentially. If it does want to trade sideways, it does it for quite some periods of time. So be very mindful of that. Mark's asking do you have a link for earnings this week? No, but I can share this Reddit post with you. Who was that? At Jutan. There you go. It's a little visual. It shows a little a picture of all the stocks going to be before and after the market. Can we look at X? That's U.S. Steel, right? I have a friend that's a lawyer over there. With that being said, crazy moves higher here. Again, really tying this into the very large infrastructure bill that we could be seeing coming through here. A little bit more of a downward movement here. We do have earnings coming out the 28th here, so be mindful of that. We are bouncing off the 34 MA, which is also a key level that we could be watching here. With that potential support there, it's not going to be strong support because we haven't really built a base there. It's still what aggressively falling down. The 5 and 8 moving averages need to stop pointing down at a very steep level to the ground like this. I would like to see this kind of curl off here. But if 1850 doesn't hold, we're going to be potentially coming back down to $17 potentially there. But I really kind of want to wait this to kind of see with a base build. With that being said, earnings coming out a very short period of time in like 4 days, 3 days really. It's going to be very hard to really get that base building in before earnings. Jared saying, Prime, I'm buying 10K of OZSC tomorrow. I'll get back to you in the week. What is that? OCS. You guys in the penny stocks. Joe's asking for Fiverr. Yeah. This thing has been on fire, on fire. Look at this move here, just continuously grinding higher here. If it does pull back, it's looking for some support around $230, even back down to 220 here. Those are going to be some key levels to look for to the downward side. But this again could be kind of base building here around 240 here. trading sideways, and then maybe get that kick higher into earnings again. When it's earnings towards the middle of February, so that 290 level is something to be very much mindful above there. Okay, David, I need more the merrier, right? Okay, sorry. Chat just updated once I just did that. All right, hold on. Okay. Yeah, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is kind of moving higher here. Like again, Bitcoin came really strong down to the 34 EMA on Friday here. Looking for a very strong bounce. If it stays above that 32,000 range, I think it could be just fine. But I'm not going to be putting all my apples and bananas, if you know what I mean, into Bitcoin. A little bit of crypto is just fine, but I'm not going to be a crypto bug and just put in majority of my investments in it. There's a lot of other things that we can look at, is like SI is another way. I don't know. Sorry, not futures. SI. This is another company that you can look at for some exposure into the space of cryptos, and of course you can always just buy what is it called? The blah 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 blah. Square or PayPal, which has a fairly large ownership in this. But this one looks pretty interesting. Again, this is one I do own. If it does break above that 77 to 75 range, we can easily see some targets up to $90. Again, it is in a squeeze, but this is definitely one that I have on my radar. Oh, Alan's saying you're like the Tesla of Sunday night stock chart streamers. I retracted it because voices to text picked up some of that, what you're saying, and you read it out loud. It would have been confusing. Poo. Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure that it wasn't rejected for some whatever reason. I appreciate that. And I was telling people where to hit the like button. Okay. Thank you, David. I'm sorry, Alan. I was reading something here. Okay. Folks, this has been fantastic. Okay, let's see here. We did FUBO. I saw that come up already. Let's just go over some quick ones real fast because a lot of people, new folks, have joining in here. We have added quite a few folks. Let's go into GME again. I think everyone wants to be talking about this. Talk about this cat in the room. With that being said, I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't want to predict. I don't want to be guessing on what could happen, what should happen, how my feelings are about it. I'm just going to let the trading gods and potentially the manipulators take this one by the wheel. I'm just going to be just sitting here waiting to see what happens. With my binoculars at a very far range, because this has gone a little bit parabolic, and this could be a nuclear explosion. With that being said, we have some really strong resistance around $70 or $71.45. We saw a break above that, of course, 76.76, and then came right back down. Came back down not aggressively, came back down around $65. So nothing too insane there. But that being said, I just this doesn't mean that it has to stop here. This can easily run higher again. A pullback would be just fine to $48 to $50. Even back down to $40 would be just fine. It can even come back all the way down to 33 and things will be just fine there as well. That is something to look at these ranges. But very much, again, like I said, really much the potential movement in this one, and especially what could happen is pretty much a coin flip here. If the literally cash runs out and the short squeeze continues, in the sense of that the shorts have to buy back continuously, or margin call comes in Monday or Tuesday, which we talked about in the previous live stream. We could see this potentially run higher again because to get out of your shorts, you have to buy back the stock at a higher price. So that could potentially add more fuel to the fire to kind of run up there. Next one a lot of people talk about is Blackberry as well. This thing has gone pretty much parabolic as well, really between that 5 and 8 moving averages, potentially trying to hit that $15 to $16 target to the upside. We could get a bounce off of that. Again, looking at the daily chart here, even looking at the hourly chart here, the 34 EMA I really liked on the hourly chart, especially for momentum stuff. It can come easily back down to 13 to even the 1244 range. So looking at this would be basically around the 8 EMA here on the daily chart for that kind of movement going forth. I saw someone ask about when. Yeah, Wynn looks interesting as well. Again, this is the casino company and resorts. Again, this was trading for around a $138, $140 range. It's currently around 107. With this potential movement again from that, again, very low that we saw around 35, has been very choppy on the way up. It's kind of had a little bit of issues around the 108, which we're currently sitting at. If we can get any kind of positive notion or movement higher here with the earnings run into February 4th or 5th potentially on the earnings here, we could get a movement higher to 120 to 128. If we do get a movement higher, the next target to the upside is that 128 range, but the downside is really going to be looking for around 100 to 94 to the downside support if we do get somewhat of a pullback and correction there. I think that the resistance was because of the call. Yeah, so I think with GME, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think it was just a lot of stock buying. It was just the very cheap call option buying, and people were just running that up. Because when you buy a call options, you're just saying you're really placing a bet that you're going to buy 100 calls potentially on the date of expiration. Jared, you said it very well. FOMO gets us all, and we get greedy. Even though we tell ourselves and we have a big note on the side of your desk that says, "Don't get greedy, you pig," I still do it. Millions were definitely made and lost last week, Justin. So, again, there's always a flip side to everything. Bing Zing OZSC. Is that the one we just looked at? The penny one? What's I don't even know how you guys can trade this. No pun intended. Like I can't even type this in my keyboard fast enough before this moves. With this one, again, like we talked about on the short dated side, that 34 EMA, so basically 5 cents is your support to the downside. It's just funny saying that one, but this thing, if you guys think it's gonna rip, go for it. Like, but penny stocks are not really my thing there. BBY, no, BB3Bs, right? This is Bed Bath and Beyond. Yeah, is this also on Wall Street Bet's target board to look to go higher here? This looks very interesting here. Like it had somewhat of the quarter wasn't great if I remember. It kind of it did pull back a little bit, but it didn't crash. It held above that 17, and like look at that beautiful run higher here in that movement here with the 5 and 8 aggressively pointing higher, hitting an all-time high for the year. Around $31.45. So that's pretty insane there in the membrane. With that being said, with if this is a short squeeze as well, we're not seeing the same kind of volume kind of coming in here. This would potentially need to be like a large gap up within deviation, a larger deviation move, would be potentially looking for some targets around $40, $41 to $41 for the next fib there. Because again, the RSI and the volume zone oscillator are really looking to try to print higher here. If we don't get that squeeze or whatever, we can come back down to $28 to $26, and that would be some initial short-term support there. But WDC, is that Western Digital? Yeah, with earnings as well. Again, this one has kind of been like trading sideways and kind of been like a little lagging here, honestly, over their competitors. But if it's in the cycle, we are again. Look at that. Look at this. It's trading between that 50 and $55 range. Hasn't really been able to get out of this range here. If we do get that movement again, if they're saying a $5 move, is basically a breakout would be above 55, a breakdown would be below 50, right? So that's what I'm kind of looking at with this one there. NNDM, yes, NNDM. We talked about multiple other 3D printing companies. Again, this is not your little 3D printing trinket company. This is going to be a very aggressive, not aggressive, a commercial enterprise-based companies. Really super, I'm not saying, I don't like to use the word extended, but this thing is looking pretty flashy up here around that $15 range. Can it go higher? Sure. Is it a short squeeze? Maybe. I don't think it was that much of a large interest on it. I think it's more or less just getting on a lot more people's radars, since it's like on ARC's radar since like $3 or $4, and this thing looks like it wants to continue to grind higher. I have some short-dated targets around $16 if it can reach that level, with some short-term support around $11.50 and even back down to 10, and everything would be just fine. Someone's asking for Penn Gaming. Of course, Penn Gaming has made a pretty strong comeback as well, again, with sports betting, sports going back on, all that fantastic stuff. We have some targets potentially trying to reach 116 to 120. If this trend wants to continue holding that 5 and 8 moving averages, we can easily see that target be reached. We do have some pretty strong support to the downside around 100 to 96. And asking for Apple, yeah, we can look at Apple, AAPL. Of course, they also have earnings coming out this week as well. I actually really like Apple's setup here, with again that previous issues that we've seen around that $138 range. We've hit an all-time high close on Friday. And that being said, with earnings coming up, we could maybe get an earnings run. With earnings going fantastically, I think we can easily hit 150, but that's if all things are aligned. If things are not all aligned, we can easily see a pullback, potentially even down to 130, even back down to 126. So kind of keeping that in mind with, again, earnings on the horizon. If earnings was not on the horizon, I would be a little bit more bullish, but you have no idea on how earnings could present itself. So I'm a little bit sus on that. Yeah, Fastly looks interesting. I saw some folks post about that. It had a pretty large move into this week here. With Fastly, it has been somewhat in this range here. I honestly believe this TikTok stuff is just done and over with. I think that the current administration is not going to do anything about it. That 110 range it's previously overhead resistance. Again, it's trading around 103. We've seen these swings higher, these swing ups, but then it kind of fails and comes right back down. We are looking for some short-term support, potentially around $96 to $99. If it doesn't hold, we can easily see it come back down to $92 to $90 there as well. With that being said, it does have earnings coming out towards the middle of February, so be mindful of that with the old Fastly. PayPal, yes. Oops. PayPal, I love me some PayPal. This thing looking fantastic here with earnings coming out towards the first week of February. Really looking to kind of continuously hold and trade higher here. It has broken to an all-time high. We talked about this 150 range way back when, I mean like around Thanksgiving time, to be a very key target. With earnings on the horizon and the potential upside of people getting more cash in their pocket, we can easily see this potentially test that $300 range. I know that seems insane, $300 range, but $300 could be in the deck of cards within the next month or so. So that's nearly $50. So we're looking at basically potentially reaching this by April or May timeframes, potentially, if the continuously market does want to continues going higher, and of course, if it does a pretty good quarter to go out there. I don't have an alert down there. Anyways, that's the PayPal. Can we look at UVXY? So again, I think you understand how UXVI UVXY works. It's an ongoing indicator of the VIX. So this thing will continuously trend down until they do a rebalance of it. So you have to understand that even though it's in a downward trend, it doesn't mean that it's in a downward trend. Like, it's basically, the whole point of this is to hold this for a very short period of time. This is not an investment. You don't buy UVXY to own for a long period of time. You're maybe trying to trade this for a day, 2 days. So this is all about timing on when you think we could get a somewhat of a reversal in the market, or get more fear to jump into the market, especially here. With that being said, anything can happen, right? We are a little bit higher extended on a lot of markets here, but we are. With that being said, I can't really trade this. Again, you really have to buy this or get into this if you're thinking that there could be a reversal in the market, which I don't like to bet on, because I don't know. I don't know when the market's going to reverse. I can kind of feel when the market's a little heavy, and that's when I take a little bit of profit on the table. But if you like to hedge the position and buy into this to maybe protect yourself to a little bit to the downside, that's worthwhile. But it is kind of bouncing around that $10 range, which is somewhat interesting. But that being said, this is, again, the VIX has continued looking lower. So if we look at just the volatility index, the CBOB, this thing has just been very much just trading sideways, actually hitting very low here around 23. Again, for references, during the peak of the pandemic, it hit $80, and it normally trades within like a $20 to $15 range as well. Let's see here. IDEX. Of course, this one again has also, whoops, I don't know why that just went, cancel that. This thing has these weird moves. It spurts higher, trades sideways, spurts higher, trades sideways, spurts higher, potentially trades sideways. A little bit different patterns than we saw previously the last two times. This one is looking quite interesting around the 330 range. If we continue to stay above this 21 EMA, which is currently around 277 and around $3 higher, we potentially could easily test $4 if this trend wants to kind of keep this movement and the ball rolling to the upside here. We talked about AMC. AMC could definitely easily come back to $4. I don't trust TikTok either. I literally downloaded it, used it for about 30 seconds, and I felt my brain cells die. No offense to anyone else. Is AMC parabolic AMC? Yeah, I think AMC could go parabolic again. Really going to need a little bit more news driven. Who knows? We can get the boys and girls on Wall Street Bets and Robinhood Invest folks to really pump this one up. It's kind of in their wheelhouse just because it's a very cheap stock, low float. It really just kind of meets all those criteria and checks all those boxes here. So that $4 range could easily be met if we do get all those things going on all cylinders. How to calculate UVXY to SPY. I don't know what you mean by that. So normally, so if you're asking on the sense of like, if I think it's something, if we're gonna see a pullback in the market, I would rather buy SPY or QQ puts rather than buying like a VIX or a UVXY indicator or a stock of that sense. David saying the Nasdaq's up 0.75. Yeah, it's nearly up 100 points. It's definitely going to be a very shiny hot Monday. We'll see how things goes out there. Mm-hmm. Justin's asking, looking for AI. We did TELL. I forget what I did, but I know I talked about that one. I think I did that one, right? Yeah, TTLL. Yeah, nothing to really add there. Looking for 345 again. It's just been holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. Very much a momentum trade there. Netflix. Let's go through these pretty fast. Oh. Netflix, fantastic quarter. Really took some of the people by the cojones. Really moved the stock higher, but it came in right into the overall overhead resistance around 575. And it really hasn't really broken above that. With that very large move higher, we could easily see it pull back to 550, and that would be somewhat healthy. But if we don't see, if we do get pulled back to 550 and we don't really get any kind of movement, we can easily see it back down to 530, depending on where the moving averages start on Monday. That being said, that 575 is a very key level to kind of hold to potentially really try that $600 range for the old Netflix. And then you wanted to talk about AI. Sorry, I got off track there. AI, yeah. So, like an IPO, new kind of stock, huge run higher, then trade sideways, potentially looking for some support initially around 125, even down to the 120 to 118. That being said, I'm a little sus on this one just because of the overall movements in newer the IPO stocks. We had to be very mindful of those lockups as well. So depending on when people can get some selling and different things forth in that range. Wow, how did Netflix spike? They had earnings. Jamie, we did BB already. Looking parabolic, potentially some overhead resistance around the $16 to $17 range. GSX. That sounds familiar. What does this do? This sounds so familiar. What is this company? Hmm. Yeah, huge move higher. I think this is due to the lockdowns. Is this like an educational company? With this move higher, it's kind of filling this previous gap here, so we could run up to the $100 range would be somewhat normal to see. But that is definitely a very large move higher just the last week or so. Again, I don't know what the rhyme or reason was. We also do have earnings coming out on the middle of February, so be very mindful of that. Drew is asking for GM. That, of course, GM and Ford have been on fire with General Motors here really hitting that $55 target that we initially talked about. If this trend wants to continue, the longer term trend is going to be looking for around $66 to that movement here. Again, looking at that 5 and 8 moving averages to potentially try to carry us higher here. But a pullback could be in course here, about $50, even back down to $48, and that thing will be just fine going forth there. Oh, it's a railroad. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Chris. CRM I saw, and dog. No, I'm not gonna talk about cryptos. I'm sorry. I am totally not the right person to talk about cryptos at all. I barely touch Ethereum and Cryptcoin and Bitcoin. Salesforce again. These are the guys who are buying Slack. Huge move higher on their last two earnings ago, but the last earnings wasn't too great because I think they're spending quite a bit of money to get Slack under their umbrella here. With that being said, we are potentially trying to see the early stages of somewhat of a turnaround here. If we do get that 5 and 8 to cross through the 21 EMA, we can easily see this try to break above that 230 to 240 range, which would be kind of filling that previously gap down to that level. But we do have support to the downside around 215 to 216, basically where the 200 EMA lies on the daily chart there. Sorry, folks, I'm trying to get to everyone, but this chat's moving so fast and I just cannot keep up. I do apologize. Um, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Um, I saw someone talk about Alibaba. Yes, I want to talk about Alibaba. I don't want to get say I don't want the Chinese government to turn my stream off. With that being said, with the whole Jack Ma appearing on a web conference or a Zoom meeting or whatever that was, really strange here. It kind of gapped up to that 260 range, which we saw previously resistance, but now it's kind of coming back off this a little bit. If we do kind of come back lower, I want to try to stay at least above 250 for that level to kind of hold here. That's kind of be on the short dated side. But it can come back down to 244 if it wants a pretty substantial pullback. Be mindful that we do have earnings coming out the first week of February, so not this week, it's the following week. So that's going to be a little bit of a sus move there. Again, from last earnings, it was pretty much a drop due to the Ant IPO. I don't know even what happened with that scenario. They just kind of pulled it, the carpet from underneath the whole company, and it's kind of crashing down. There's just so many unanswered questions, honestly. The risk to reward is pretty high on this one, on the sense of if you risk money, the reward could be payoff substantially if nothing ever comes from it and everything just kind of goes back to normal. But I think there's just too many red flags and question marks for me in that picture, honestly. Mm-mm. LRCX when you get a chance, Jimmy. Land research, of course, very much a cyclical play in the sector of just semiconductors, anything to do with processing power, chips, not the potato chips. This is the chips that you put in your computer, cars, anything, everything now. With this move higher here, looking for potentially, again, earnings as well on the 27th, so be mindful of that. A lot of earnings this week, so that's really a very key level to look at here. Potentially looking for this to kind of stay above here. What's the earnings for this week is basically $37. So $37 could easily put us back down to around that 21 EMA, but that can also put us back above that $600 range. So we do have some overhead targets around 600 to 607 if we do get that move higher within those ranges there. BA, I think I did BA. Maybe I did. Let's do BA. Let's do a couple more, and then I'm gonna have to call it a night here. Getting a little restless, getting tired. It's only 11:45 here. With that being said, looking for with BA. This is gonna be one. If the overall China stuff goes well, and China wants to buy some more planes from us, I think BA would be a huge beneficiary of that. Of course, we'll see how earnings comes out again. This is going to be very much a coin flip. I cannot register that enough on how much that is a very play there. The overall move, I believe, is $12. So yeah, 12-ish dollars in that range here. So we're looking for some support potentially around the 144, and the targets be above 220. Very much a coin flip, and we'll have to see on how management shows it forth. I saw we did GStat very much continuously running higher. We do have wants to hold that 5 and 8 moving averages, continue going higher there. Frank, we did Fiverr. Fiverr looks really strong. Do, 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 do. Square looks good as well, but Square kind of got pulled back. I think go ahead kind of towards the overall fun stuff that we saw with Bitcoin pullback. I think this is just fine here. If it does come back down to 215, 214, that would be a nice little potentially to add some to it. I actually like it at this level as well, with a squeeze in sight, so we could easily to the upside targets try to test that 245. Zoom needs to break above 400 to kind of get bullish for me. F-Cell, I saw some people talk about. F-Cell looks fantastic. Wow, what a great move on this one. Really aggressive here, holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. Just continue to grind higher here. We do have some short-dated support, the support around that 14-ish range, wherever the 21 EMA kind of lies here, on those levels here. But with this potentially kind of large exhaustion higher to $20 and pulling back, that's somewhat normal. With earnings coming in back, we could easily see this try to test that $20 level once again. D-Nice is asking for BB once more. Yeah, BB is going to be a difficult one. Again, this is, gone super parabolic somewhat to that. It's gone pretty much very much parabolic here because it is literally just holding that the 5 EMA here and just continues to grind higher here. We're looking for that movement to around $15 to $16 to be some overhead resistance. If we do get a break above that, 20 could be the next target, but be very mindful of a pullback in the short term would be basically between the 5 and 8 EMAs here. I saw some on SRNE. Yeah, I saw some interesting options on this one. We are having some overhead resistance around the $10.65 and not really been getting above that. Really need to see a clear pattern to kind of get above that range there. I did IDEX looking for potentially to hit 4 if we stay above around $3. XPEV, what's XPEV's ticker? Someone's asking for home. Home, what a beautiful chart. A friend of mine pinged me about this one. This is a beautiful breakout here above $22-ish. Really looking to try to continue higher here. Very, very gorgeous looking chart here. We're looking about MU. I saw a lot of folks are pinging stuff now. MU, same kind of movement here. We hit that level around 87, then kind of pull back and looking for some potential moves higher here. In the short term, we're hitting a little bit of the short-term support around $81. If this pullback wants to continue or trade sideways, we can maybe see the moving averages kind of start building up here and getting into these levels and try to test that $87 range above, because again, that's a very key target there. I saw someone AMRC. AMRC. Don't know what the company does, but it's a beautiful looking chart here. Like, wow. This is a beautiful looking chart. It's holding that 21 to 34 EMA and just continue to grind higher. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chart. FUBO, yeah, this one FUBO needs a break up of 40. And by 40 means that we need to see that continuously kind of break out of that range. This could be setting up for like maybe a bear trap, so be mindful of that. Um, REGI, REGI. Wow, yeah, that's another beautiful chart with this renewable stuff. Just been continuously grinding higher here. We're like, wow. It's a little bit, I want to say it's extended here. It's not on the RSI or volumes on the oscillator are screaming red, but it is definitely looking for, it is hitting an all-time high on Friday. So just be very mindful of that one there. I saw someone talk about SBE. Same as well. This thing has been somewhat very aggressive trading here. Again, I think this is something that could be somewhat of a recovery as well. Once we get the clean energy bill or what we are going to call like a resurgence of U.S. manufacturing and really kind of making America more reliable on our own stuff here again. We could easily see this again, some support around $38. We've seen strong support at the 34 EMA multiple times before. With a squeeze looking higher, I actually kind of like this play, to be quite honest with you. I'm actually going to have to write this one down. If it stays above that $38 range, we can easily see it back above $45 to maybe test its all-time high ever so once again. So again, I sometimes share trading ideas. If you're a Patreon member or a YouTube member, again, I'm not a registered investor or anything associated with that. So these are just my own honest opinions. Um, I saw someone talking about AAL. Yeah, AAL again. These recovery stocks are very much could be a strong recovery coming into again. They've been somewhat sleeping here. Again, we had those airline stocks jump pretty high a couple weeks ago, and then retrace back down to potentially stocks talking about not really seeing a more of a lockdown coming through there. With that being said, with a squeeze and earnings coming out, be very mindful about this one. What's the expected move for the week? Is around $1.30. It's not a substantial move, but again, it's a $15 stock. We do have some short-dated support around $15. Even back down to 1465, which would be a stronger support, which is the 144 EMA there. With that being said, if we do get a break finally above and stay above that 1686 to $17, which we've seen hit a number of times, would be a substantially staying power there. Kumar's asking for Amazon 340 calls. Yeah, those are going to be cost quite a bit there. If you can afford that, that's something 340. What am I looking at? You say 3,400. Yeah, that's a lot of open interest there and volume coming in there. I'm not saying it can't happen. 340 for this week. That's 120 bucks where we're currently looking at. Yeah, so Amazon, I love Amazon long term without a doubt. This is definitely something that we could be seeing a breakout above the 3,336, which we've talked about multiple times, on being some overhead resistance. We're kind of see that come into Thursday, and we never get that breakup on Friday. So we'll see on how, if we can get that movement higher again. My honest opinion for you, Kumar, I would like to go a little bit longer dated than that. I know there is earnings coming out on the 22nd of February, so unless you're trying to plan for an earnings run, I think that could maybe be in the deck of cards there. Uh, bu- 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 Do a couple more. I'm getting really tired here. Um, the chat's starting to turn a thing. Yeah, started turning to spaghetti here. Kenneth, you're very welcome. Hamas, you're very welcome. Coach B, you're very welcome. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing. I really appreciate that. ABML. Wow. So this is really much of a textbook cup and breakout. You had the movement up, you had the A, then you had the pullback, the B, and then you had the recovery from that, which is like the C, and then you had the D, which is the previous breakout. So the breakout from the previous high around $1.50, and then boom, off to the races. This is going to be very difficult to kind of give you a technical analysis on it. Really gonna see on how this trades between the 5 and 8 moving averages on the daily chart here. On the hourly chart, these normally can trade a little bit loosely, so a pullback to around the 230 range would be somewhat normal. Of course, it doesn't have options, so nothing to really add there on that one. I saw. Good night, Alan. Thank you for everything. We talked about BNGO. I don't know what time we did that, but we did talk about that. We could potentially see that hold $9. But yeah, let's see here. Ken the Dyslexic Visitor, can we talk about PLTR? We could talk about that one real fast. PLTR has that demo day on Wednesday, I believe, Wednesday or Tuesday. We could easily see this run up higher again. I think a lot of people are suspecting a move higher just because of it's like the NIO day. Of course, you saw with NIO day, huge run up, and then it kind of just traded sideways and then kind of pulled back a little bit. So something to be very, very careful. Of course, this thing has already moved 25% on Friday. So yeah. I'm not saying it can't go higher, but the next level of resistance is around $33. And we do have some longer dated targets around $40 for the PLTR. Again, it has no earnings, it just has that movement there. And then you talk about SPY, yeah. So the market right now is up pretty good here. We're up about 15 points or nearly 0.5% here. With this movement here, the targets for SPY is continued to try to hold higher here. In the short term, we do have some support around 380 for SPY, but a pullback even to 375, 376, that trend will be just fine. Even back down to 374, that trend will be just fine intraday. But again, what I'd be finding a little bit of issues at would be if we start breaking below 370. So the move for the week is only a $3.25 move. So we could easily see a move to 380 to 379 potentially. So that trend is still looking to potentially continue to go higher there. I'm going to do a couple more here. I saw Chris is asking for the DraftKings. Yeah, this one has kind of been meandering as well. It's kind of been bouncing around here, not really getting out of the zone here. We talked about that 55 to like the 50 range here. Really looking for that maybe again reopening of stuff, sports coming out there as well to potentially see that breakout above 55 to $56. But in the short term, if it stays above 50, that trend is trying to continuously going higher. Randall McDaniel, that's about GNOG. Yes, GNOG, what an interesting one here, eh? Really much just had a huge run higher. After its acquisition and merged, it just came crashing down here. It has been holding this range here. It's kind of been holding this 50 SMA here on the way up here, kind of holding this line here, potentially trying to rocket higher here. Would love to see the 5 and 8 cross through the 21 aim and potentially test 22 to even 23. And those would be some key levels to break out at those levels there. Um, Can you ask him for plug, zoom, and NTN, please? Plug. Okay. So plug. Oh, I can type. That being said, with the plug power, again, this thing has had multiple upward moves here on the fantastic news of people giving them money, people buying into the company, all kinds of things. Could be kind of building somewhat of a consolidation flag here with that ranges between the 8 EMA and the 5 EMA. So around that $65 range, plus or minus $2 or $3. A pullback to potentially even the 55 to 52 would be just fine for this trend to continue. But with this overall revolution of EVs and just plug stuff, it's going to be very hard to see the momentum behind this to continue going higher. We do have some targets around $80, but taking a break here could also be in the cards. I saw Zoom as well, right? You talk about ZM, like Zoom the communication. This one I really just need to see above $400. At $400, that's what I need to see it above to really try to consider it a breakout or trying to move higher here. If it doesn't, we can easily see it coming back down to 366. Let's do a couple more here, and then I'm gonna call it. It is getting super late. BFT, that sounds familiar. Another acquisition back here, really grinding higher. It's literally just holding that 21 EMA here. It had a squeeze, it fired long, so be mindful of that. It's a little bit elevated from its previous levels here, so if it could come back down in the short term to around that 17 to 1750-ish range. BNGO, looks like a lot of folks have asked that one still. So BNGO, of course, has been, I believe, somewhat of a hype train here. I believe that anything can happen in the market, and look at this, right? With that being said, it's still a very FOMO momentum trade here. So it's been holding that 5 and 8 moving averages, that white and purple line, and just continued to grind higher here. Looking for a potential break here. If it does break above 10, hello 1389. So those are some key levels to look out for. If we don't break that $10 to $12 range, we can see it easily come back down to $8 to even $5.50. Even though in the intraday, in the short-term side, that would be just fine for the trend to continuously try to carry us higher from those ranges there. Let's do two more. We're going to do Tesla and AMD. All right. Then we're going to call it a night. So Tesla, love me some Tesla. Of course, there's earnings coming out on Wednesday after the close. With that being said here, Tesla somewhat just trading sideways for the last week or so. I really believe that it's just because people are just kind of sitting on their hands waiting to see on how earnings comes out. This thing has been very much a high flyer. We do have some great data on it on the sense of new cars. They're really ramping up their stuff in China. Model Y is finally available in China. Again, who knows how this is going to turn out. I'm bullish on Tesla long term, so that's my opinion. If we do get a pullback, we can easily see it come back to the 21 EMA, which is around the 380-ish range. And of course, the break of 900 would be very significant. AMD as well has earnings this week as well, the same time as Tesla. This one has been a little bit more difficult to trade because it's been very much a sideways action for quite some period of time here. And it's really trying to play hard to get here and trying to break above $100. So has been seeing a little bit of issues at that range there. But with earnings, that could easily potentially propel us higher. But on the same side, it can propel us lower to around potentially $86 levels there. We did tell multiple times. It's a very much a breakout. It's just holding that. VLDR, again, same one as well. Very interesting stock here. Very steep corrections, and now it's kind of coming back here. We do have a squeeze setting up here with RSI and volumes on oscillator. Potentially, if they can stay above 21-ish dollar range, and it breaks, we can easily see this ramp up above 24 to even potentially test in the short-term side around $27. On that one, folks, I'm going to call it a day. My eyes are turning the chat into spaghetti. I really do appreciate everyone coming out. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe on the way out the door. I want to thank Chris, Jared, and of course David S. becoming the moderators. I do appreciate that. Has helped a little bit going forth on really just trying to stop the spammers. Oh, Greg, I'm sorry, I didn't see your question. You asked about. Let me do two more. NIO and Disney. We'll do those two more. Okay. We got an encore going for Ken. Encore. Everyone write encore in the chat. I'm going to go to bed after these two, I promise, Jared. Get an encore for Ken. So NIO. Okay, so we had NIO day. It hit a top of 67 basically and then came right back down, holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. Build somewhat of a support around that $57 range, which we talked about being a key level support, which was previously at its high. That being said, if we do get a break above 62, this thing can easily run up to those parabolic SAR dots, which is around $66. That being said, we could easily see that reach that level. But again, at the same time, we could get a pullback if we don't break above that $62-$27 range there. And then last but not least, my longest holding stock forever is the old Disney. I've been holding this stock forever, and I own leaps in this one. That being said, Disney already kind of released some subscriber numbers. They're releasing some fantastic trailers on everything, the movements of Star Wars, the Marvel universe, and they're just throwing so much more content into their Disney Plus there. I think it's really much Disney Plus is just fantastic if you're a Star Wars fan or a Marvel fan. That being said, it has, since I had that move higher, just kind of been consolidating around that 173 range, again, which is a key fib number. Disney loves to hit those fib numbers. With that being said, with earnings coming out towards the middle of February, which is kind of within the February timeframe in the sense of the monthlies here, we can easily see like a $14 to $15 move in that time frame. With that being said, that 190 is going to be something very aggressive to look at to the upside. We do have some short-dated support, again, around the 170 range. And even with the oncoming slope of the 50 SMA here, around 162 could be some onward support going up there, folks. So, yeah, definitely fun to look at. I am going to be doing a potential live stream or a video on setting up Thinkorswim. I think I've done it multiple times, but definitely something to look out for on that one. That being said, thank you guys so much for coming out. Again, I'm going to go right to bed. I'm going to brush my teeth first with my Costco toothpaste and my Costco brush that I bought from Costco. So Costco, if you're out there, sponsor your boy. And again, we have some other affiliate links down below. Check them out. We got Tastyworks if you want to open up an account of $2,000 or more. Check that out. You can get 10 call options or 100 shares if you open an account of $2,000 or more. Amazon Books. I love books. I use Audible because I'm dyslexic, so I like to listen to all my books, so I use Audible books. Again, I don't think I have a link down there, but definitely check that out as well. Always fun to listen to those. Guys, thank you so much. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe on the way out the door. And again, I'll see you guys tomorrow on a video or maybe a live stream. Definitely going to be doing a live stream on Wednesday for all the fantastic earnings going out this week. All right, guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, guys. Catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.